Hey there, welcome to the Diamond Report for Saturday, April 29th, 2017. This is your host, Doug Diamond. I'm going to skip the earthquake update today only because there's not a lot of new activity and we had a little bit longer than normal earthquake update yesterday. So I thought we would just jump right into the headlines if that's okay. Geoengineeringwatch.org. Today's Saturday, so that means Dane Wigington has put out a brand new global alert news. On countless fronts, the rate of change currently unfolding in our biosphere is beyond true comprehension. So few understand or even want to understand the severity and immediacy of the growing challenges that we must collectively face if we are to survive much longer on this planet. More and more data is surfacing about the dangers of atmospheric particulate pollution and radiation exposure. At the same time, the current administration is doing its best to completely dismantle every imaginable environmental and human health protection law. Donald Trump has become the new and most frightening face yet of the military-industrial/fossil fuel industry complex, though ultimately he is only a puppet in the power structure play. Those currently in control are now more dangerous than ever before. How close are we to the trigger being pulled on World War III? Will Korea be the scapegoat for the U.S. military's unleashing of a nuclear holocaust on planet Earth? Then he talks about the next installment of Global Alert News. The vast majority of industrialized societies are so totally disconnected from the natural world that very few even notice the rapidly dying ecosystems around them. Material distractions have blinded the majority to the fact that without a functional habitat, without a living web of life on our planet, we will all die. Who will stand by and let this happen? Who will stand against the insanity in a valiant and critical effort to sound the alarm and alter our current course? That is by Dane Wigington of geoengineeringwatch.org. And again, Global Alert News is a radio show he does each week. It's basically an hour-long monologue where he goes through the top headlines and then talks about what's happening with geoengineering and how it all ties together. So go to geoengineeringwatch.org. In the right-hand column, it's the first listed item over here. You can just click on it and go right to it and listen to the show right here. And I would also just remind you that Dane's brand new book, Geoengineering, A Chronicle of Indictment, is also available now. Just go along the top menu here and click on book, and it'll take you right to the information about it. This is the cover of the book. I detailed this on a couple shows back, so I won't say a lot of extra information here, but just know that for 25 bucks you can get the book, which is 725 pages, and a DVD, and it's a really good deal. I would suggest, if you have the funds, to donate a copy of the book to your local library. NSA spy agency halts controversial email sweep. The NSA will no longer collect certain internet communications that merely mention a foreign intelligence target. To say that they'll no longer collect certain internet communications, I think is a load of BS. Bravo Sierra. Barbara Streisand. I don't think there's any truth to that whatsoever. Trump using executive orders at unprecedented pace. Yeah, this is very concerning to me because the president is not king, and he's doing a lot of the things that Obama was doing. Now he's trying to undo some of what Obama was doing, but the president's job is not to issue executive order upon executive order. So the Hill here says the rash of executive orders underlines Trump's focus on reversing as much of the Obama administration's policy agenda as he can. I think that's part of it. I also think that he's doing his own new executive orders that could be compared to some of the bad stuff Obama did. So we just have to try and keep an eye on what he's doing, which is very difficult, of course. But I'm not a big fan of executive orders at all. I don't think that's the president's gig. He shouldn't be going around Congress. He should be putting it out there and letting the people decide if possible. And speaking of Trump, he says, "My first day is just about the most successful ever. My fellow Americans, I truly believe that the first 100 days of my administration has been just about the most successful in our country's history. Well, I think that's certainly debatable, and I also think almost every president says that. So there you go. Trump declares 8-year assault on Second Amendment over. That's on the Truth Revolt. I think that remains to be seen. There are plenty of liberals out there and just people in general that think disarming the American population is the next logical step. So for him to declare victory is a little premature, if you ask me. Social justice warriors call for legalization of knowingly transmitting HIV. Radical far left goes off the medical deep end. How Antifa lost the battle of Berkeley 3.0. Free speech activists dominate radical leftists. Get smart. CIA tries to turn a cat into a radio. Agency attempted to use espionage felines. That does sound like something Agent 86 might try. In a John Bound report, North Korea pushes imminent war. The clock is about to run out on North Korea. 2017 NRA annual meeting, the fight for guns rights has just begun. American gun culture alive and well at annual convention. And as I mentioned in yesterday's report, the pro-gun confiscation folks, what they're going to try and do is to label you as a gun owner as anything you say as, quote, hate. And if they can label what you say as hate, which of course they can label anything as hate, you can just define hate however you want, right? They label what you say as hate, then that gives them the right to come in and take your guns. So that's what to look for next. California contractors ignore politics in bid to build border wall. We could put the wall up, probably a mile of it, probably in 3 weeks. That sounds like a lot of probablys to me. I do think a lot of people support building the wall, but I also think it was just a political football to be used in the campaign. I don't think, I mean, it's possible that Trump actually did mean it. I don't know. But I don't think it's ever going to happen, personally. From Michael Snyder of the Economic Collapse blog, 11 reasons why U.S. economic growth is the worst that it has been in 3 years. Le Pen names nationalist as prime minister in last-minute bid to boost votes. That's on Zero Hedge. He's an establishment man. MEP says the EU picked Macron will continue European project. That's from the Express. Yeah, I think it remains to be seen if Le Pen can actually win. It would be great if she did, but like Trump, she has the whole power structure, the EU, against her, and she may not be able to overcome that. And I mentioned this yesterday. U.S. warship approaches North Korea after Kim Jong-un carries out another failed missile test just hours after Pyongyang warned it was on the brink of nuclear war with the United States. Japanese Prime Minister brands North Korea a grave threat during his London visit after Pyongyang's failed missile test closed Tokyo's subway. Is South Africa heading for civil war? The country is lurching ever closer to conflict as its volatile Zulu president vows to seize land from whites while Afrikaner fighters train in the bush. I've been to South Africa, and it's amazing how the races interact and don't interact there. And I hope everything works out, but I'm dubious to say the least. Report Democratic Party behind anti-Trump protest planned tonight at Harrisburg, PA rally. That's from Gateway Pundit. Russia's remote-controlled robot tank ready for action as World War III draws closer. And more from Agent 86. WikiLeaks reveals gruesome Project Acoustic Kitty and how the CIA wired cats to spy on the Russians. Maybe we should call some of the animal rights activists on that. Alert, China's government is now worried about global economic collapse. That's on King World News. And an X22 report, Fed goes all in to crash the economy. From thelastgreatstand.com, Obama's real legacy, allowing North Korea to develop technology to hit U.S. land. Why Brussels teamed up with Soros to bring Hungary to its knees. Armageddon in the making? U.S. and North Korea dig in heels on Pyongyang's missiles. That's on Sputnik News. And from RT, Russia backs China's call to stop North Korea nuke tests in exchange for halt in U.S.-South Korea drills. Macron's campaign accuses RT of spreading fake news and dodges requests for clarification. Well, that's what globalists do. They insinuate something, they say something, and then when someone calls them on the carpet for it, they either pretend it never happened, lie about it, obfuscate, or they just totally ignore it. Portland Rose Parade canceled amid threats of violence from anti-fascists. You have seen how much power we have. Police can't stop us, they say. That's on shtfplan.com. The taxation is theft meme has officially gone mainstream. That's on Zero Hedge. Report, talks underway for new conservative network as Fox shifts left. United Airlines CEO will be questioned by Congress on Tuesday about passenger who was dragged off the plane. Climate scientist warns against geoengineering at TED conference in Vancouver. That's on activistpost.com. British police making terror arrests on near daily basis as expert estimates 10,000 UK jihadists. That's from Breitbart. Documents tie Berkeley riot organizers to pro-pedophilia group NAMBLA, which of course is the North American Man-Boy Love Association, where there's no real love involved at all because you have pedophilia involved. The Hungary PM, Prime Minister, says George Soros has ruined the lives of millions of Europeans. Joint U.S. and South Korea naval drills start in Sea of Japan amid tensions around the Korean Peninsula. That's from RT. And from Zero Hedge, violent riots break out in Brazil as first general strike in 21 years paralyzes the nation. Fox News 2.0's Roger Ailes explores new TV opportunities after Fox News ousting, while Milo Yiannopoulos gets $12 million to build alt-right media company. Well, that's good for Milo. Colorado bill bans cops from helping federal government arrest people for cannabis. That's on the Free Thought Project. The Quran blamed for new U.S. disease outbreak. That's on WND.com. Lloyd's, Halifax, and TSB customers all locked out of accounts in online banking. Reveal Donald Trump's killer drone squad capable of wiping out thousands in World War III. That's on the Daily Star. Hardcore reality, everything you have prepared so far will be pushed to the limits and beyond when SHTF. And I think you know what that means. It's on Survival Dan 101. George Soros-backed climate march brings celebs to National Mall on sweltering Saturday. That's from Breitbart. Duterte warns Trump that guy Kim simply wants to end the world. That's from Zero Hedge. Trump's son-in-law and senior advisor Jared Kushner took $250,000 from George Soros to start his company Cadre. That's on the Daily Sheeple. From Dave Hodges, when alt media acts like mainstream media, we disgrace ourselves. I couldn't agree more with that. 90% population reduction in next 7 years, according to major think tank, which of course is Deagle. That's also from Dave Hodges of the Common Sense Show. A message to Antifa from an American infantryman, Iron Mike. This is from gruntworksmedia.com. This keeps me up at night. Trump's security chief reveals the next target for terrorists. That's on the Express. And from Natural News, Chicago Tribune echoes the health ranger, which of course is Mike Adams, warns that government pensions will evaporate before many retirees can collect. The new civil war, radical communists versus conservatives. That's on WND. The latest, Tokyo subway temporarily closed over North Korea. Black-eyed mugshot of Lancaster County suspect gets national attention and disbelief. Look at this person. Then Steve says, this looks, based on her tattoos, to be eye-dyeing. Real black-eyed soulless people have a total otherworld persona about them. Exorcist now. And also on YouTube, on Timothy Alberino's well, former YouTube channel. They took his channel down, but he had a really great video about black-eyed kids. You may still be able to find that on YouTube, where it talks about what Steve's saying, soulless people. There were and are apparently such things as black-eyed kids, and he goes into great depth. Again, that's Timothy Alberino, Black-Eyed Kids. You can search it on YouTube. I don't know if you'll find it, though, because they took his channel down. And after stating that, I went ahead and went to YouTube to search it myself, and it is still there. You can definitely find it. It's only a 12-minute video, so if you have a few minutes, watch this video. It's really interesting. It's the Alberino Analysis, Black-Eyed Kids, and it's on the Gen 6 Productions YouTube channel. And I'll scroll in here so you can see it. It's Gen, G-E-N-S-I-X Productions, Gen 6 Productions. And this is Timothy here, and he's talking about black-eyed kids. Really interesting and super weird. And from the Daily Mail, The World at War, stunning interactive map reveals every conflict currently active around the world. Let's take a look at it. And here it is, the world's conflicts. You just click on a red circle, and it gives you the explanation as to what it is. North, South Korea, Colombia, Mexico. There are over 40 of them. And from the Gatestone Institute, Saudi Arabia's lavish gift to Indonesia, radical Islam. Prior to Saudi Arabia's attempts to spread Salafism across the Muslim world, Indonesia did not have terrorist organizations such as Hamas. Catholic scientists just convened in Chicago to ask where Cloud Eater aliens are and if parallel universes host their gateways. That's on Skywatch TV. And from CNSnews.com, Family Research Council's Lieutenant Colonel McGinnis says there's a lot of witchcraft in Washington, D.C. When he thinks of Sodom and Gomorrah, he often thinks of the nation's capital in the same thought. Rightfully so. God's fingerprints are everywhere. God warns us throughout the Bible that sin has consequences. Should we consider him a liar because he tells the truth? The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. That's on townhall.com. While I was reading that, that reminded me of just about any article that Matt Peterson of the Daily Crow puts out. If you go to dailycrow.com, Matt does an incredible job of showing God's fingerprints in numbers, and numbers that have to do with anything and everything. He connects those dots. It's really amazing. Tom Horn and Steve Quayle's upcoming Cloud Eaters book will answer big questions raised by this article. The hidden connection between ancient cannibalism and the Rephaim resurrection, telling you the headlines before they happen. It's on Skywatch TV. And if some of these headlines weren't already weird enough, from the Daily Mail, and Steve says extremely graphic content, so I won't show you the pictures, but why you should never walk barefoot in the gym. Man caught an infection that left his foot blistering and bleeding, and he needed a skin graft made from fish scales to repair it. Physicists just came up with a mathematical model for a viable time machine. They use the curvature of space-time in the universe to bend time into a circle for hypothetical passengers sitting in the box, and that circle allows them to skip into the future. That's on thetreeofliberty.com. And a YouTube video, Dr. Steve Pieczenik, lunatic left, wants President Trump in a mental ward. The Kremlin warns Russia will strike back if America starts dropping nukes. Russia will provide an explosive response if America decides to use any of its nuclear weapons, according to one of Putin's top defense ministers. That's on the Express. Smokescreens in Islam, confusing the public about the facts. Islam conquered Persia, Turkey, North Africa, and the Middle East, Greece, Spain, and most of Eastern Europe, until its armies were stopped at the gates of Vienna in 1863. That's on gatestoneinstitute.org. First direct London to China train completes 12,000-kilometer run. That's on France24.com. Killer whales go on unprecedented killing spree off of California. That's on Fox News. Yeah, they're starving to death because everything else in the ocean is dying the entire food chain is dying, from the plankton to the top of the food chain, meaning killer whales, sharks, and so forth. Everything's dying. Between Fukushima, geoengineering, and methane hydrates release, it's just amazing. I mean, we're losing everything, and people are clueless that this is even going on. Creekmore's top 5 handguns for preppers. Just because you're a woman doesn't mean you need a man for protection. With training and the proper tools, you can defend yourself. That's on the survivalistblog.net. And this expands and builds more on a headline I read earlier from Dave Hodges. When alt media acts like mainstream media, we disgrace ourselves. For you so-called journalists that think that someone's misfortunes in their family are fair game for reporting, let me remind you that you are hurting the Jones children. Of course, that's talking about Alex Jones and his ongoing custody battle. But the people that are the haters of Alex Jones and InfoWars are going after the kids just the same as they're going after Jones. And it is unfair, but the point is, they hate Alex Jones so much they'll take down anyone and everything in their path in order to bring him down too. That is not journalism. U.S. superstorm, very large, powerful storm system stretching from New York to the Texas Panhandle. And if you want to see it, there it is, in all its geoengineered glory. Isn't it lovely? This is on strangesounds.org. And more on the mess going on in Brazil. Police open fire on furious Brazilian demonstrators as they descend on president's home amid violent clashes as 35 million join national strike. They are furious at proposed changes to labor laws and the pension system by President Temer. Is this stalwart of radical left-wing bias setting up America for an EMP holocaust? For misleading the American people, the National Public Radio deserves to be defunded. That's on All News Pipeline. That's all for today's Diamond Report. Thanks for listening and watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.